إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is alone worthy of praise. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and whilst we praise Him, we acknowledge our deficiency in praising Him. He is as He has praised Himself. And indeed all thanks is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who is the source of all blessings. And peace and salutations upon the Messenger of Allah, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent as a mercy to all of the alameen. Dear brothers and sisters, we want to inshallah try and conclude the story that we started now 2 weeks ago. The story of the boy and the king and the magician. And as we said before, this is a story that the Prophet ﷺ told us about a nation that passed away before us. And this is something which the Quran has also alluded to. So it is not a story for entertainment, but this is a story from which we take lessons in life and in Iman. Allah's Messenger ﷺ told us that the conclusion of the story was that after the monk was killed and the Jalis of the king, the minister of the king, was also killed for their faith and that they wouldn't return back from faith, then finally the boy was summoned to the court. And the king said to him to leave his religion and to return back to what he was upon. The Prophet said, فَأَبَى فَدَفَعَهُ إِلَى نَفْرٍ مِنْ أَصْحَابِهِ اذهبوا به إلى جبل كذا وكذا فاصعدوا به الجبل فإذا بلغتم ذروته فإن رجع عن دينه وإلا فاطرحوه فذهبوا به فصعدوا به الجبل فقال اللهم اكفنيهم بما شئت فرجف بهم الجبل فسقطوا وجاء يمشي إلى الملك فقال له الملك ما فعل أصحابك. Just to translate the story, the Prophet tells us then the boy was brought and he was ordered to leave his religion. And he refused to leave his religion, so he was given to a group of henchmen of the king. And he said to them, take him to a mountain in such and such a place and climb to the top of the mountain with him. And when you reach the top of the mountain, then either he leaves his religion or you throw him from the top of the mountain. So they took him to the mountain. And as they were about to throw him, he said, Allah maktinihim bima shait. Oh Allah, be sufficient for me, whatever is required to absolve me from this problem. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused those people to die. The qissa doesn't tell us how they died, but that they died and the boy survived. In this statement here, the king, why is it that he had the monk slaughtered? He had him killed. And he had the king's wazir or minister killed. But when he came to the boy, he gave him the opportunity to return from the religion, or he was going to throw him from the cliff. It seems that in this story the king, he hoped that he could recover something from this boy. Because if he returns from his religion, now this will have an impact on all of the people. That look, he took this religion, then he left it. How often we see this when people are presented to us or I was a Muslim, now I became a Christian or such and such a person. Trying to have an impact on people's emotions, to say, oh look, Islam is incorrect. But in actual fact, what we'll see is that we haven't seen a single Muslim scholar who left Islam. When a person understood Islam, we haven't seen a single one of them leave Islam. And if you recall back to the story of Jerusalem, when the Prophet's news became apparent, and Abu Sufyan was in Jerusalem at the time, Ilya, and Heraclius, who was the governor over Jerusalem, he asked for them to be brought. And one of the questions that he put to Abu Sufyan at the time, who wasn't a Muslim, he said to him that when the people accept his religion, do they leave his religion? And his reply was no, that they don't leave his religion. The examples that we're given today, people who were supposedly Muslims and they became Christians or so on and so forth, these are always examples of people who were misfits. People who had problems. And people who were always amateurs, just ordinary people who had problems. They needed money, they had a drug problem, they had an alcohol problem, somebody helped them, they became theirs for the dunya. But how many Christian reputable scholars left Christianity and came to Islam because of what they found in Islam? This is the effect of a person once they understand their religion. So the king's aim was that this boy, if he returns from his religion, it will have such an impact on the rest of the people that nobody will turn to this religion. So rather than just killing and being done with him, he wanted now to reverse the process. Because this boy, don't forget, he has had an impact on the whole of his society. People are coming to him and seeking cure with him, and he's been doing his dawah. And that will not be removed until it's taken in the hearts of the people. But the boy, he refuses. He refuses to leave the religion he's upon. Because whatever he gives him in this dunya, even his life, it is nothing, worthless, haqir, in comparison to his iman and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So as a result of that, the boy refuses to leave his religion. So what does he do? He orders him to be taken. If he can't convert him, then this is the source of the dawah. So annihilate the source, remove the head, and there will be no more power left in the body. So he ordered his people to take him far away and to throw him from a mountain. Because what happens when you kill somebody in front of all of the people? He becomes a martyr. And people of siyasa, they know that when you have a martyr, well, those people, they move people to faith. So we don't want martyrs. That's what they're telling me. Kill him somewhere far away from the eyes of the people, so his death is hidden. It won't have an impact or such an impact upon the people. So as a result of that, they took him. But look at this boy. He makes this dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of his reliance upon Allah. And doesn't this fall in line with the dua of the Anbiya when they were in such difficulties as well? Just to give one example, Ibrahim Khalilullah. When they threw him in the fire, he made dua to Allah. Allah, you are sufficient for me. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allah, you are sufficient for me. The same meaning of this dua. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the boy. Just like he saved Ibrahim alayhi salam. Dua, as the Prophet said, ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah. Dua is worship. Dua is the silah of the mu'min, the weapon of the believer. And when it's wielded by a person who is willing to give his life for Allah, why will Allah then not answer his dua? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered his dua, and the boy is saved. And then he returns back to the king. There's a question here. Why would you return back to the king? To face yet more trials and maybe to be killed? While there's the opportunity now to flee and to spread the religion. It seems from the story that that would be defeat. That would be defeated if a person were to run away. Because now he is no longer going to be allowed to propagate in that area. But there is a greater goal, which is the da'wah of all of those people. If he returns back to the king, the people will see that he has come back and he is saved. And that Allah has helped him. And this will have a stronger impact and an impression upon the people. So he came back to the king. When he came back to the king was surprised. The king said, "Where are your companions?" And notice he says, "Where are your companions?" Whilst they're not the companions of the boy, but they are the companions of the king. They are the henchmen of the king. But he calls them your companions because he doesn't want defeat to be denoted to him. So he thinks either they've been treacherous and sided with the boy, or if they've been defeated, then they're nothing to do with him. They're his companions. So the boy is then presented to some other people. And the king says to them, "Idhabu bihi fahmiluhu fi qurqurin." Take him and board with him a small boat. فَتَوَسَّطُ بِهِ الْبَحْرِ, and take him to the middle of the ocean. فَإِنْ رَجَعَ عَنْ دِينِهِ وَإِلَّا فَاقْذِفُوهُ. Either he returns back at that point, or you throw him in the sea, in the river, in the ocean, and he will drown. So and again, he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused the ship or the boat to overturn, and they all died. And he was brought safely to the shore. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he wants to do that, he can do that. You always see the story of Yunus alayhi salam in the stomach of the fish, the bottom of the sea. When he called Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from all of those darknesses, and Allah above the heavens heard his dua and answered his dua, and Allah brought him safely from the bottom of the ocean, the belly of the sea, onto the dry land. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the boy. And again, the boy returned back to the king. Now the king has become arduous. He can't even kill this boy. And all this is doing is causing the people who are observing this scenario to have more conviction in the religion of the boy. They are becoming Muslims. He can't have them becoming Muslims. Because if they become Muslims, then he will no longer be able to get away with the things that he was getting away with. So as a result of that, the king became now completely lost. How will he kill this boy? So the boy said to him, "You are not able to kill me. You are not able to kill me until you do as I order you to do." It seems strange that a person might by his own hands lead to his own death. Instruct somebody how to bring about his demise. This seems strange. But even in this tadhiyah, or this sacrifice, there is a goal which will be achieved, and that is the Islam of the people. So the king asked him what should he do. So he said to him, first of all, collect all of the people in one place. قَالَ تَجْمَعُ النَّاسِ فِي صَعِيدٍ وَاحِدٍ. Collect all of the people in one place. فَتَصْلُبَنِي عَلَى جَذْعٍ. Then cause me to be tied to the trunk of a tree. Then he said, ثُمَّ خُذْ سَهْمًا مِنْ كَنَانَتِي. Then take an arrow from my quiver. ثُمَّ دَعَ السَّهْمَ فِي كَبْدِ الْقَوْسِ. And then put the arrow in my bow, and then say, Bismillah, in the name Rabbul Ghulam, in the name of Allah, the Lord of the Ghulam, of the boy. Say Bismillah in the name of the Lord of the boy. Then fire it. فَإِنَّكَ إِنْ فَعَلْتَ ذَلِكَ قَتَلْتَ. If you do this, you will kill. The king, in his blindness and obsession to kill the boy, didn't realize that collecting the people, bringing them together, and doing this will cause the people to accept Islam. in his obsession, he was blind to the impact that this will have on all of the people. And also in this is something else. Shuja'a is not that a person gives up his life, but he gives up his life in something which is worthy to give his life up. That's Shuja'a. Otherwise it's ignorance to give it up for something which is nothing. So this boy, when he gives up his life, this is Shuja'a. This is bravery. And it is for a purpose, and that is to bring the people to the religion. And this is true martyrdom. This is Shahada fi sabilillah. Look at the people that have come to the religion as a result of that. So the king took him and bound him. And then as he was instructed, he said the name of Allah, the Lord of this boy, and he fired the arrow. And the arrow struck the boy between his eye and his ear. And then the boy raised his hand to his temple, and then he died. The king is rid of him. This is the end of the dawah. But it's not the end of the dawah. Because now all of the people have observed that this boy has overcome the king. And to the extent that the king has had to now resolve to the method of the boy. And he's also called upon the Lord of the boy, Allah. So all of the people accepted Islam. They believed in Allah. So the purpose or the life of that boy, one boy, was sacrificed. And how many were freed from the hellfire? All of the people accepted Islam. Brothers and sisters, this story of the boy doesn't end here. Because now the king has a problem. Now the king wasn't dealing with one boy, now he's dealing with a nation of people. So he ordered that all of these people who've accepted Islam, that they should dig a trench and they should fill it with fire. And they should throw them in this fire, except for those who turn back from their faith. Remember at the beginning of the story we said that the companions complained, O Messenger of Allah, do you not see what is happening to us? Do you not make dua to Allah so Allah aids us? These people now, they are being persecuted for their iman. So they are being thrown in, and after what they have seen, it has raised their iman to the extent that they are prepared to sacrifice their lives for their religion. So they are being thrown in. And the Prophet then tells us the scenario of one woman that at that last moment she felt taraddud. She was in two minds. Maybe she should save herself. And she had with her a child, an infant, that she was nursing. And when she felt that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the child speak. And this is one of the few children that spoke from the cradle. And the child ordered her not to have taraddud. And so she jumped in and she was also thrown in and she also died. The point is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this story tells us about being firm in faith. Because this dunya, which we, by our nature, we hold on to. By our nature we hold on to it. Because our nature is not like the nature of the companions. Because Iman truly entered their hearts. And they loved death more than they loved life. And this is why you find them that they sought Shahada fi sabilillah. See the companions going to the courts of kings. The king of Persia. And he tells the king of Persia that either you accept Islam and you are at peace, or I warn you that I am coming from a people who love death as much as you love life. And those companions of the Prophet, they loved Shahada. You see them vying with one another. Jabir and his father in the battle of Uhud. They both wanted to go to the battle. Not one of them wanted to be left behind. He said, I want to go because I'm young. This is my opportunity. And the father said, no, I am old. If I lose this opportunity, I won't have another opportunity. And we both can't go because there are debts to be settled behind. And there are young children that are left behind. So Jabir is ordered to remain behind in the battle of Uhud. And his father goes into the battle. And subhanAllah, look at them. They're yearning for shahada fi sabilillah. That he sees in a dream the night before. Somebody that he recognizes from the Battle of Badr, which was the battle before this, in which he is told that tomorrow you will be united with us. So he's already given glad tidings of martyrdom. So what does he do? The next day he goes into the battle and he fights very bravely until he's martyred. Look at the sidq, the truth in the heart of this man. That when he is ordered to go into this, when he goes into this battle, he goes into it willing, vying to go into it. And that is not just out of stupidity, but out of ikhlas and sincerity. That we get news of his akhirah. What's the news of his akhirah? When the Prophet returned from the battle, he found Jabir, who was upset. So he said to him, Jabir, why is it that I see you upset like this? He said, O Messenger of Allah, after you, he was the most beloved person to me. After who? After the Prophet ﷺ. What does the Prophet tell us? None of you truly believe until I become more beloved to him than his father and his son and all of mankind. Those people were the example of that. We just make claims, but they were the example of that. Jabir says, O Messenger of Allah, after you, he was the most beloved person to me. So the Prophet wanted to console him. He said, Jabir, your father is the only man who Allah spoke to him directly, without an intermediary. Allah spoke to him directly. And he said to him, ask me what you will ask me, and I will give it to you. So he replied, O Allah, return me back to the dunya, that I might fight in your cause again and be martyred again. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him, or told him, that I have promised them that once they leave it, they will never return to it. Leave what? The dunya. Once they leave the dunya, they will not return to it again. Nobody who went from this dunya returned to this dunya again, except for those few people like the ones that Isa alayhi salam brought to life. So a person doesn't return back to this dunya. And this is the story of one of how many. This boy though, his ham was what? A shahadat fi sabilillah? No, his ham was a da'wah ila Allah. That was the initial reason of da'wah ila Allah. But the highest example of sacrifice is a shahadat fi sabilillah. Giving one's life for Allah's sake, for the akhirah. But this boy, what did he do? As a result of his death, he brought so many to life. He gave so many life because of his death. Whilst okay, they were after that killed, but life in the sense of true life. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likens those who don't have iman to those who are dead. Brothers and sisters, the story of this boy, the people of the trenches, Ashab al-Hudud, this is an example that is pertinent to every time. It wasn't just the companions who were told this story, but it is a story for all time. Because trials will come and we will be tested. Sometimes the trials are small and sometimes they are huge, almost unbearable. But however many those trials may be, and however harsh they may be, and however difficult they may be, but a person should be steadfast in iman. In this dunya, we may lose our life. And that would be a small price, but to lose our iman is the ultimate price. You lose your iman, you lose your faith, then you are lost. Because this dunya, nobody will live in it forever. The akhirah, la mahala, you have to go to it. And then when you come to it, if you have no faith, then it's not a good end. In fact, it's not an end. It's the beginning, which is endless. So brothers and sisters, giving da'wah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the hum which everybody should carry on their shoulders. To the level that they are able to. Not everybody is going to give muhadarat and write books. And not everybody is going to be able to convert people straight away with hujjaj and baraheen. But you, as an individual, you are a Muslim. That Islam that you have, if you exemplify that Islam in the way it should be exemplified, then people will see the good in Islam through you. But when you are a bad ambassador to Islam, and you give that example to people, the impression of people is, well, look at these Muslims, and look at their behavior. Brothers and sisters, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us a people when we hear the truth, recognize it be true, and give us the ability to act upon it. Also make us a people when we hear the false, recognize it be false, and give us the ability to avoid it. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله ما بعد أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله سبحانه وتعالى في السر والعلن وصلوا وسلموا على البشير النذير فإن الله سبحانه وتعالى قد أمرك بذلك في كتابه فقال إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم من صلى علي مرة واحدة صلى الله عليه بها عشرة اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وارض الله من أربعة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن سائر أصحاب نبيك أجمعين ونحن بيت الطيبين الطاهرين وارض اللهم عنا معهم بمنك وكرمك وجودك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين آمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداء الدين واحمي حوزة الإسلام يا رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات عباد الله رحمكم الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله العلي العظيم يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون وأقيموا الصلاة